I think that we see your activism in the way that you serve as an actress, like in Who's the Boss? I love that you said that it was ahead of its time. I gotta know, how is the reboot gonna be different?
I think it's having a more diverse cast. I think it's addressing timely issues. You know, all of the things that we are dealing with as a country, I would really like, even if we extract the political aspect of all of this and storytell based on the foundation of what these issues are, because at the end of the day, all of these issues are human issues. And so I think our job as storytellers, and what I hope to contribute moving forward in my life and my career, is to tell stories that are different, that are more inclusive. And that also includes hiring, you know, an inclusive and more diverse writing staff. You know, things like that, producers, a more diverse crew. All of those things I think are incredibly important to tell a complete story about the American people and families.
I know that you've talked about playing with the idea of running for Congress someday. What do you think would make the difference in that decision? And what are your thoughts on other celebrities like Dwayne Johnson running? Like, would you be supportive of them?
Oh, for sure. I would vote for Dwayne Johnson in a heartbeat, and I'll tell you why. Because there is a clear service through love mentality that he has that I think is really apparent. I think he comes from a place of love and respect. I have so much respect for someone who didn't stand by just because of their fear that it would alienate half of their audience. And you know, I am very grateful that he did come forward, you know, and endorse Biden when the country was going through such struggle.
One of the things we're celebrating is your new book, Sorry Not Sorry. I gotta say, so in the beginning of the book, I really liked that you said, look, this is supposed to be an activism memoir, but the pandemic hit right at home for you. And then it changed a lot of things. How did the book and its aim evolve?
I started right before the pandemic, and then I got sick from COVID. And it evolved into not only wanting to give a snapshot of where we are culturally, socially, and politically, but also like where my family was during this time.
Now, you also talk very candidly, not just about your family, but you also speak about other things that you've endured throughout your life. There's one chapter I got to know a little bit more about, though, by any other name. It alludes to roses, a rose. Tell me about this chapter.
Well, I mean, I think anyone that reads the book, anyone that is or has been familiar with the last 4 years and feeling attacked by a co-star will be able to identify who that chapter is about. And, you know, I chose to address her in the book that way because I wanted to be, first of all, I wanted it to fit into the book. And the book is not, you know, a salacious journey into my career. It's really a heartfelt, thoughtful wording into my heart. So I wanted to be thoughtful and calm instead of reactive. I feel like Rose has been incredibly publicly unkind, to say the least, to my family and me for many years now. And I feel as though whether it's directed at me or other marginalized communities, I'm going to try, it's not always easy, but I'm going to try to always stand on the side of kindness. And sometimes kindness makes unkind people angry and uncomfortable and hurtful. And I've said many times, I feel as though hurt people, and healed people heal people. So I never want to contribute to someone's pain, but I did feel like because this book was so much about uh, what I've dealt with in the last 40 years of my career, that I needed to address it.
When I read it, it seemed like you almost separated yourself from the conflict. Was that a way, like even going as far as to like not really name Rose McGowan in that chapter? I mean, do you think that was a way of being a little bit more kind when you were talking about your own feelings and your own experiences?
I think it was my way of making it more of a literary, poetic moment for the book, and not something that was gossipy or, again, hurtful towards her. I did try to deal with it in a way that was true to who I am, true to my heart, true to my soul.
You just got arrested last week at the Voting Rights Now rally. Was that the first time that you'd been arrested? What was that experience like?
It was the first time I was arrested. The experience was hard, obviously. I mean, being arrested is not fun, but I went with People for the American Way, and we felt it was important to march right up to the White House and really persuade President Biden to use everything in his power to get the Voting Rights Act passed. And, we sent Biden to DC with a very clear mission, which was to pass progressive policy, to pass policy that is important for the American people, that helps them put food on the table, that makes life easier for families. And I think regardless of party, we all have to do whatever we can possibly do to make sure that those promises are fulfilled. Doesn't matter if there's a Democrat in office or a Republican.
I feel like you've been a real shero for a lot of people, including your uncle recently. Tell me about the experience that you guys had with your crash. What was the first thing that you thought when it happened?
I don't even remember. To be honest with you, I was in such a state of fight or flight. And they often say that the most traumatic moments of your life, you do have a hard time putting the pieces together of just exactly what happened. But I can tell you that we were on our way to a doctor's appointment, and I was on my phone. He was driving, and we got hit from the side, which is what, took my face from, this to look over at Uncle Mitch, and he had lost consciousness with his head leaned back and his foot on the gas pedal on the 405 freeway. And so somehow I was able to stop the car using my hands. We had incredible citizen bystanders who are absolute heroes and sheroes who helped me once the car slowed down to really stop the car. And to hold the phone while I called 911 and gave Mitch CPR. And after 35 minutes of CPR, they took him to the hospital, and I was absolutely hysterical. The scariest thing by far that has ever happened to me and my family. Uncle Mitch has made a miraculous recovery. He got out of the hospital. He is doing so much with diet and exercise that he may not need open heart surgery. And so it really is a miracle, because this was a man who, when we got to the hospital, the doctor said to me, you probably bought him enough time for the rest of his family to get here to say goodbye. We had found out that he had a stroke. So it really is just miraculous that he is on the road to recovery. It's gonna be a long road to recovery, but he's alive, and I'm so grateful to everyone who prayed and sent us good wishes and thoughts.
Thank you for watching. If you want more extra, hit the subscribe button and the bell so you'll never miss a video.